to Mr. Jackson. Know that we don't pull you often out of advisory to do things, so if we are, it's for an important message. And I know if you remember what Nick spoke to you about last year, he had a pretty good message to share with you. So with that, let's give Nick a big Liberty Junior welcome. Mr. Nick Jackson.
Thank you. Hey, do me a favor. If you are part of this awesome crew that did all the amazing things this Christmas, please stand up. If you're in the crew, stand up, stand up. If you have anyone here that was a part of the crew, give it up. Hold on, say stand up. Don't be scared, don't be scared. You're a part of the crew. Thank you. Give it up for them. Give it up for the crew. Give it up for them. Give it up for them. Give it up for them. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you. Now, before I get into what I'm going to speak to you guys about, last year I came, I had you guys stand up, and when you guys stood up, you guys screamed something out. You guys remember what you screamed? No? No, sorry, right? This year we're going to do something really special. Now, one guy just said, I love myself, which I'm glad he does. That's not what I had you scream, though. That was close. Last year I had you scream, I am awesome. Yes. Now. This year we're going to do something different. The reason why I have, stop talking. The reason why I have people scream out that they're awesome is because my buddy Vinny, when he was going through cancer treatments, and after he died, I actually missed his funeral because I went out to speak to students like you. It broke my heart to know that I was not at his funeral, but his wife told me he's gone now, and other people need to hear the story. Other people need to feel awesome. Now, as I come to you today, actually, when I leave here today, me and a friend of mine are going to go see another one of my friends who's battling the same awful disease of cancer. A good friend of mine that I grew up with, a guy that I knew super duper well, a dude, you ever have one of those friends that everybody picks on, but you know this person is special? Silently, my buddy Stefan was the nicest guy I've ever met in my whole life. And the day after Christmas, he stepped out of his bed and he broke his leg. And he found out that leg break was due to cancer. He has stage 4 bone cancer. And we don't know how much longer he's going to live. Today, before I go out to go see him, I'm coming to see you. And I'm going to make a video of this tape right here to encourage him to keep fighting. So when I come to you and I have you guys say these things, when I ask you to be quiet, it's because these things that we're talking about are close to my heart. My best friend, my homie might be dead in the next couple of months. So, today, before we get started in my speech, I'm going to scream out, I am, and I'm going to ask you guys to step up, stand up right now, stand up, everybody up your feet. Stop talking, please, stop talking. Now there's a camera that's right here, this camera's running, it's a 365-degree camera, my buddy Xavier brings it to my speeches. When I scream out, I am, I want you to point at this camera, and I need you to scream out 2 words. Those 2 words are tally tough. So I'm going to scream out, I am. When I'm done, I'm going to point at you and you're going to scream out, tally tough. Hold on, that's the worst scream I have ever heard in my life. That's horrible. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, in 7th grade, because you guys were loud and energetic. You guys were involved in the speech. When I pointed at you, I need you to scream out, tally tough. Tally tough. Hold on, let's try it again. When I point at you, I need you to scream out, tally tough. Tally tough. All right, now we're going to put this together. I am. Tally tough. I am. Tally tough. Pause. There's a bunch of you guys that aren't saying it. I just want you guys to know. I want you guys to know. As I'm pointing at you, I'm noticing that there's a lot of your mouths that aren't moving. I really need us all to be in unison on this one right here. Because when I show them this is going to be something that's really close to my heart. When I point at you, I need you to scream out, tally tough. I am! Tally tough! I am! Tally tough! Good job. Sit down, sit down. Have a seat. Now, I'm here to talk to you guys today a little bit about my job. I travel around the country motivating high school and collegiate students They call me the positive culture coach. I used to coach football at Highlands High School. We won a bunch of state championships. That was fun. I had a good time doing it. But that's not what I'm here on this earth to do. The NFL books me to do speeches. I've done speeches for AJ Green. I've done speeches for the Green family. I've done speeches for the Bengals, Atlanta Falcons, the Bills, and now I'm here today with you. I've also got to speak to almost every principal in the state of Texas. I've spoken to over 500,000 individuals. I'm also a mentor. I've mentored thousands of individuals, and I have a nonprofit that helps people with disabilities become entrepreneurs. Right now, I'm working with a guy in California who's a quadriplegic who just so happens to be the best life coach I've ever seen. I'm working with a young man in the south side of Chicago who's dealt with murder for most of his life. I'm helping him put together his own nonprofit to help the people in his neighborhood. Here in Cincinnati, I work with people who sell drugs. I work with prostitutes. I work with people who have kids before their time. And as I go to all of these places and I work with folks, I look them in the face and I tell them that they're important and I tell them that they're beautiful. But the one thing that I don't usually say when I do these speeches is I don't really talk to people about why I do what I do. See, I'm really good at being like, you're so important. I need you to do better. I'm really good at saying there's something special about you. I need you to make sure the world knows it. I'm really, really good at saying, you know what? I really like your glasses, dog. You look good today. That's what's up. That's what I like the glasses. I'm really good at saying that. But I'm bad at telling people why I do what I do because it hurts and it's really, really personal. As a motivational speaker, I wasn't always motivated. As an inspirational guy, I wasn't always the guy that would be coming to your school to tell you about how beautiful you are. A lot of my life, I hated myself. I was the embarrassment of my family. Let me show you something real quick. You see that picture right there? Y'all see straight out of Compton? Yeah. That's straight out of love right there, just so you know. That's what that looks like. When I was growing up, I was diagnosed with a learning disability. I remember when my mom would come to my IEP meetings and sit across the table and cry. I remember what teachers used to say about me when I walked into the school. I used to love to play football. Because on the football field, that was a time in my life you could say my name in a positive light. I hated report card time. Honestly, so did he, just throwing stuff. I hated to get report cards. Because in my house, that was another reason for me to get beaten. I remember I used to wear these sunglasses all the time. And the sunglasses that I had on, they would hide my pain. There was a time I'll never forget. I was in class, and I was asked to read. And reading usually got me in trouble. Not because I was a good reader or a bad reader, but I was so embarrassed that other people were going to make fun of me that I'd get myself sent to the principal's office so I wouldn't have to deal with being made fun of by my friends. What I would tell my parents were, sometimes I don't even know why I'm here. I suck at everything. I'm not good at anything. I can't stand going to school, and I'm forced to go there every day. I'm not good at this. I'm asked to read passages that I don't even understand. Other kids are getting it, and I'm not getting it. I can't stand it. I hated it. When it was test time, they used to usher me into this little classroom with other kids. I would study and study and study and fail. I didn't understand at the time, but when I was in middle school, I was suicidal. And I wanted to hurt myself. And one day, I'll never forget, one day my freshman year, I had this teacher. His name was Mr. Raines. Mr. Raines was the oldest, dorkiest white guy you'll ever see. I mean, he was just straight, he looked like Ichabod, he was old, Abraham Lincoln looking white dude, right? And I remember If you guys play sports, if you play sports, you know you get to go into your school before everybody else is there. So if you're an athlete, especially like a football player or volleyball player, you can go into school before everybody else is there because you're practicing for your sport before the school year starts. As I was in school, I was with some of my boys, and we're joking around in the hallway, and there was this guy, male voice, that heard us joking around. And he said, hey, who's in here? And I remember, usually whenever the teacher calls, for me, I'm about to get in trouble. And I was like, it's me, my name is Nick. And he said, hold on, are you Nick Jackson? And I was like, yeah, it's me. And he said, you don't even understand how bad people talk about you in the office. We've been talking about you coming to our school for some time now. You're known for this and this and this, and all those things weren't positive. But he said, what they don't hear is your voice. Like you have this beautiful voice that can literally change lives. I need you to use this voice for good. In my life, teachers usually were never the ones that say something positive about me. In my life, especially English class, in my life, I hated school. I was really good at talking to girls and playing football. I was not good at English class. And this teacher said, I want you to be in my class. I remember when we started freshman year, I'd been in special ed classes most of my life. I didn't take a regular English class in about 4 years. And when I walked into his room, he told me we were going to be reading this play called Shakespeare. And there's Romeo and Juliet in this play. And I'm going to be the guy reading the play. I'm Romeo. And he did something that's really smart. I just want all your teachers to hear this. So he made Juliet the cutest girl in class. You feel me? Right? So I wasn't about to miss class. I just wanted you to know I've been where you are. I feel you, right? Now, in this particular instance, when I started to stumble on words, he would encourage me to keep going. He didn't make fun of me. He didn't talk down to me. He wasn't embarrassed. My parents would do this thing where if I didn't get it, they would just get frustrated and start yelling at me. He never did that to me. He said, I believe in you. We are behind you. Keep going. It's amazing because I never thought at that time that a teacher, of anybody, a teacher, would be the one that changed my life. Now I stand before you, no longer a special needs student, but a motivational speaker that has his own company, that encourages other people to get their own company started. I'm this girl's mentor. Last night I was up super duper late. The reason why I was up so late is because she called. That young lady, her name is Taylor. I was doing a speech in Crystal City outside of D.C. It was a national conference for the future educators of America. Colleges booked me to motivate African American and Latino students to get involved in education programs. I was speaking at this convention center. At this convention center, there was a girl that wasn't even in my speech that came to see me. Her name was Taylor. She said that in her hometown, she's known for nothing good. Her mom and dad are embarrassed of her. She's been taken in by another family. And at this point, she had already committed suicide, or tried to commit suicide. Luckily, the attempt didn't take. They took her down to this convention to meet with us. And I had the honor to meet with her. Last night, at 10:59 p.m., I got a call. Now, I, like you, I enjoy watching the football games. I've been involved in watching the football games. That's what I do is weekend time. I was really disappointed that my Bengals lost, but I felt like they played a little hard. When I got this call from Taylor, she just found out last night that she was pregnant. Here I am worried about the Bengals game. I'm thinking to myself about how well or how poorly they behaved during the game. I'm thinking about that late hit that Vontaze Burfict made on that young man to knock him out. I'm thinking about Pac-Man, Adam Jones, and where he's come from. I'm just angry and disturbed at the fact that we didn't win and we were winning the game. It was an awesome fourth quarter for us. But I got a call and something real is going on in another city. As I'm talking to Taylor, and she's telling me about how embarrassed she is, how she has all these goals and aspirations in her life, and how killing herself is going to make these things go away. I'm constantly telling her the things that I just said to you guys before. I hope you see how special you are. I hope you never quit fighting for things that are good. I can care less about what your father has said. I can care less about what your mother has said. I can care less. We need you to finish this race. It's not the same if you're not here. And she's crying and crying on the phone. She's talking about the bad decisions that she had made. And how if she got another chance, she'd make them differently. And I'm telling her, listen, I need you to hear what I'm saying as I'm saying this. And I'm telling her, you can't change the decisions that you made yesterday. But you always got tomorrow if you keep fighting. I was on the phone with her for hours. And it ended up in a positive light. Let me introduce you to somebody else. This right here is my man Xavier Sullivan. You might have saw him when you walked in today. I've been involved in Xavier's life since he was about 15 years old. He went to a local high school. When I met him, he was in a dark place. And I'm so proud to say, because Xavier kept fighting, because Xavier kept his eyes on the positive, because Xavier kept working, when times got hard and things got dark and he wanted to give up, he kept moving forward. And now I'm honored to say, my man Xavier just enrolled in college. Give it up for him. Give it up for him. The reason why I had the crew stand up earlier today, it was funny because when you call upon something like the crew, when you ask those guys to stand up, it's usually a situation where the individuals are kind of like, I don't know if I want to stand up or not. The reason why I had you guys stand up is I've been in situations where I was a lead. I've been in situations where things looked really, really bad, and I've had good friends that were there for me. I've had people that took time and money out of their own pockets to make sure that I was going to be okay. And for that, you all deserve a thank you. For those of you who stood in the gap for other people who didn't have. For those of you who fought for folks that weren't yourself. For those of you who invested in other people, I truly, truly thank you. Last year was one of my favorite speeches coming here. Coming here was one of my favorite speeches. Because I knew you guys were about to do something extremely special. And you did. Man, that giving tree that you guys did, I can't tell you enough good things about it. But I know what it feels like to not have and be embarrassed about it. And so every one of you that were involved in giving, I truly thank you. This next slide is something that's really close to my heart. This young man, we're just going to call him Mr. Thomas. I was booked by Delaware State University just a couple months ago, and this individual was commissioned to come and meet me. When I met him, he was in a rough place, but he'd been to rougher. Mr. Thomas is a foster care kid. He's been to more houses and been to more schools than I would like to admit. He's only 16 years old. He's seen some of the worst things that I can't even tell you some of the stuff that he's seen. But the one thing that he had when he came to talk to me, he was like, hey, Mr. Jackson, I need to tell you this. And he would get really excited. He said, I want to be a motivational speaker, right? So I've been watching your stuff. I've seen your TED Talk. I've seen what you're doing. I've seen what you're doing. I've also connected with other motivational speakers. They're doing these great things. I want to be heard. I want people to hear my voice. I want folks to know that no matter what's going on in my life or where I've been sent to, I want them to know that they got good inside them and they're special and they can do awesome things. And I asked him this question. I was like, why? And he got kind of quiet. Now let me tell you, as a motivational speaker, I speak to thousands of people across the country. Mass of them want to start their own businesses. A bunch of them want to be motivational, right? So I'm asking this guy his why, and he's getting kind of quiet. And he said, you know, I can't tell you that because if you really knew me, you'd make fun of me. If you really knew what I've seen, you'd probably stay away from me. And just like everybody else that I see wearing a mask, I asked him to try me. He told me with tears in his eyes when he was 7 years old. He was handed a gun by his father. It did a drive-by. He told me what it felt like when he watched the news later on that day and he looked back at the paper and found out that 2 people died at that corner. And so I asked him this question. Now I'm a mentor, I'm a motivator, right? So I get in with students. So I asked him this question. I said, listen, did you pull the trigger? And he said, I was too little to see out of the window and hold the gun at the same time. I didn't pull the trigger. Because of that situation, I was taken away from my parents. And I've been bouncing around ever since. And with tears in his eyes, as I held this young man, I'm telling him the same things that I told you. You're beautiful and you're important. What your parents did was not your fault. As I talked to him and as I held him at the end of the conversation, we shot this picture. Now you can't see the tears in his eyes and you can't see the tears in mine. The guy on the far right side is Dr. David Shearmar. He's a guy that I traveled with. We do speeches together. And it was an honor to be there with him on that day. Here's what I want to tell you. Your school has booked me today to talk to you guys about perseverance, about continuing the fight. And it's interesting because when I go to places and I talk, I can tell, a few of you guys are really catching what I'm saying, and a few of you guys are not really paying attention. I know when I come to a school, especially a middle school like this one, some of the stuff that I talk to you about today, you're going to feel like this is not you. Why should I listen? But here's the thing. Inside of you, each and every one of you is something special. There's a piece in your story that can only be told by you. If you are not here to tell your story, we all miss out. I need each and every one of you to find that beauty within you that the world is screaming for. I need each and every last one of you to participate and love those around you. Because it's needed now more than I can ever explain. And if you're interested in doing something awesome, if you're interested in helping people outside of yourself, if you see the world and what needs to be changed and you have ideas and ways to do that, I challenge you to do something amazing and watch the world come together because of your awesomeness. Ladies and gentlemen of the Lakota Liberty Junior School, my name is Nick Jackson. Thank you so much for having me to do something awesome.
I'm always privileged to close the session when Nick's here. But Nick, a couple guys stopped me over here and saw some kids crying in the audience. They get touched and moved by your comments. The 2 guys asked me, they said, you were really good at 2 things, you said. Football and talking to girls. The 2 guys over here said, do you think we could keep the boys in here for just a minute and he talked to us on how to talk to girls? I said, I don't know, I'll talk to him about it. But hey, give it up to Nick. He's an awesome guy. Coach Hill's got a smile. He'll be a reference point too. So, hey, again, we're blessed to have Nick. I hope that you know, I said it to you last year, I went back to what I said. You know, our goal each time is to reach every single one of you. But I know that's a